Of course, Bank of America offers EIN only business credit cards. So in today's conversation, I want to share with everyone here how to fill out a Bank of America EIN only business credit card application. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's tutorial, I want to show you how to fill out a Bank of America EIN only business credit card application form. But before I get into the actual application form, please know the requirements for a Bank of America EIN only business credit card. So the minimum revenue must be $10,000 per month. That's gross income. Your FICO at the personal level, 545 minimum. Legal structure, all. So all legal structures are allowed, from sole proprietorship to S Corp and C Corp and LLC and LLP. A Bank of America MPR is strongly recommended. In other words, it means that you need to have multiple accounts with Bank of America at the business level and or at the personal level. It can be checking, savings, investments, money market accounts, certificate of deposits. Bank of America might also want to see an EIN confirmation letter from the IRS, your articles of incorporation or articles of organization. How do you make the application EIN only? We have said this time and again on this show. You need to go to a branch. If you want to increase your chances of being approved for an EIN only business credit card, you want to do it at a branch. If you do it online, you will be taken care of by an algorithm. So when you want to go to the branch, you want to be prepared, bring your financials with you. You want to have an updated business plan, very important. This is a quintessential element in the whole application process. You want to sit with the banker and you want to discuss your options with the banker. You might be asked to talk about your spending plan, because the spending plan will actually tell them how much potentially credit card limits they can grant you. And of course, you're just not going to give them a number out of the blue, right? You need to back it up. You need to actually substantiate why the number is what it is. And at that meeting, you can also, or at that through that series of meetings, because it might not be only one meeting, it can be a series of meetings. You can also talk about a possible credit card limit. And the cool thing here is when you do things at a branch, you're able, or over the phone for that matter, you're able to gauge your chances of approval way before you apply. So you can do a soft pull and know where you stand before going to the actual hard pull process. All right, now let's get into the actual step-by-step. So let's apply for the Bank of America Business Advantage Customized Cash Rewards Credit Card. Click on Apply Now to start. You can see here they ask for the business name and address, so just put your business name and the business name on the card. Now those two might be different because on the card we have a limitation of 20 characters, so you can choose another business name on the card. It's totally up to you. And if your business has a DBA, you can actually mention that here. A DBA is basically a business name that is different from the officially registered name of your company, your personal name, or the names of your partners. Okay, for example, Smith Enterprise doing business as Popsicles Are Us. Okay, so this is just something that you need to mention. If it doesn't apply to you, just check no. Then you have to put the business address, the city, the state, the zip, the country. Next, you want to put your business phone number. This is important, folks, because Bank of America is going to verify the accuracy of your business phone number. They are going to call to make sure that there is a legit business at that address. They are going to look into public records to make sure that everything is fine from that. And then also, one thing you need to mention here is that the business mailing address. If your business mailing address is different from the physical address, you need to mention that. And many companies do this for a purpose. It depends on if you want to direct maybe your bills and your checks and other I would say business correspondence to a specific PO box, for example, then you want to mention that. So here you need to mention that. And then Bank of America wants you to indicate the business legal and financial information. So you need to put the federal tax ID number. This is the EIN, right? So you need to have your employer identification number. You want to put it there. It's a 9-digit number. And you want to put the country of formation, United States. You have to be from the United States to qualify for this card. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen, but the company must have been formed in the United States. And you have to put the state of formation. Here we put for New York. And the business structure. The business structure ranges from a partnership to LLC to S Corp to C Corp. Okay. It can also be a sole proprietorship, don't get me wrong. And here, if your business is publicly traded, you want to mention that. This is just for I think for risk mitigation purposes from a Bank of America standpoint. And the country of operations, you have to mention that. If your company operates, because your company can be formed in the United States but operate in Europe, for example. So you just want to put that in there. I want to quickly come back. When we speak about business structure, there are several business structure types in the Bank of America EIN only business credit card application form. So I'm showing you, so basically we have a corporation, you have general partnership, you have limited liability company, you have limited partnership, you have nonprofit corporation, professional association, professional corporation, sole proprietor, state and local government, and unincorporated association or business. You have to understand that Bank of America is a national player. They're a national lender or a national bank. So that here they have the whole repertoire of business structure types you can have. For sake of clarity and sake of speed, for this exercise, we chose the limited liability company choice. But I just wanted to show you all the possibilities, all the options that are available in the drop-down menu. So that's for business structure types. For legal tax classifications, they have a partnership, S Corp, C Corp, and single member sole proprietorship. The legal tax classification is different from the business structure types. So, for example, you can have a limited liability company that has chosen to be taxed as a partnership or as a C Corp. You have elections that you can do with the IRS to sort of mention that. And this is very important. Bank of America pays attention to this because there are consequences, not just fiscally, but also legally. If there is something wrong, let's say you have the wrong business structure type and then you have the wrong tax return, because and then you might have a problem. Because the last thing you want is your ass to be audited by the IRS or state tax authorities. And Bank of America is aware of that. And this is why they want to make sure that you are pretty clear about the business structure type and what kind of legal tax classification you have. And once you choose the legal tax classification, they might ask you for your tax returns for the last 3 years. Let's say you choose to be taxed as a partnership. Then they might ask you your 1065. Your Form 1065 for the last 3 years to make sure that you are not only legit, but also compliant with tax rules at the federal and state level. Let's continue on the application here. This was an important element I wanted to talk about. On the application here, they're asking you for whether or not your business is publicly traded. We already talked about that. So your business is not publicly traded. And now you have to mention here the type of industry you're in. So here we chose services, and they want to have the subtype. And this is important because Bank of America wants to do a macro analysis to know exactly what's going on in your industry. Basically what they have is they have an algorithm internally that analyzes risks industry by industry. So once you put in your industry and your sub-industry, they're able to know exactly what kind of a risk spectrum to put you in. Of course, everything is done in the background. They're not going to tell you this, but this is what it is. And next, you want to put your gross annual sales. Here, this is the gross, okay? And if you have been in operation, let's say for less than 1 year, for example, or 2 years, you can actually have projected data. And you need to put the year you are established and the month. And here they're asking you if the business is a non-operating entity. And of course we said no. And is there a parent company with more than 50% ownership? For those two questions, we put no. What is a non-operating entity? It's basically an organization such as a holding entity, a trust, an estate, a personal investment company, or a personal holding company. So this is the kind of company that does not involve the making, selling, buying of a product or the offering of services. In other words, if you don't have quote unquote a lively organization, then it's not an operating entity. They just want to make sure you have a regular company, okay, a regular company. And when we speak about a parent company controls a partially or wholly owned smaller companies through ownership of a majority amount of the smaller company's voting stock. So they just want to make sure that you don't have a parent company, because push comes to shove, if something happens and you can't pay and your business cannot repay the balance due, Bank of America wants to know whom to talk to next, whom to escalate the matter to. And here they're asking you other questions here. Does this business have a non-U.S. business activity? Here they just want to clarify, make sure that it's not illegal to operate overseas. They just want to have an idea. Next, they're asking you if you are a charity or non-governmental organization. You have to put no. Is this business classified by the IRS as a nonprofit? No. If yes, if it's applicable, you just put yes, okay? I mean, because as a charity, you can still qualify for a Bank of America EIN only business credit card business credit card, okay? And they just are asking you if you engage in internet gambling activities. Of course, it has to be no, because this is the kind of industry that Bank of America does not want to be involved in. And next, they want to talk to you about they want you to talk about your personal information, but I'll speak about that later on. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still walking you through here the Bank of America EIN only business credit card application step by step, and I'm showing you how to fill it out. And we were talking next before the break. I was talking to you about the personal information. I want us to quickly go back to the previous slide. So you can see here they're asking you for your personal information, and you have to check whether or not you are authorized to borrow on behalf of the business. So you want to put your first name, your last name. Next, you want to put your job title. So here we put the chief comedian, and this is just fictitious, of course. You need to put the kind of name you want to have on the card. And this will apply for each employees, right? I mean, not the title of the employees, but the name on the card, okay? And if your residential address is the same as the business address, then you put yes. In this case, we were just trying to put things for sake of speed. We put yes, but normally it should be no. Not normally. What I'm trying to say here is it's better to have a business address that is different from your residential address. If you incorporate, if you have a legit business and you want to increase your chances of having a higher limits, it's just a lot better. But it's not really mandatory, okay? Not mandatory. And you put your phone number and your email address. And you have to mention whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. Even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can still qualify for a Bank of America EIN only business credit card. Not a problem here, okay? And you have to put your social security number. If you don't have a social, then you want to put your ITIN number. This is your individual tax identification number. It's just a way for Bank of America to identify you. I know I will speak about the EIN only part later on, okay? I haven't forgotten that. People are just waiting. And one thing I want to see here is that you can still qualify for, even if you are a foreigner. So on the next screen, you can see here, do you have a dual citizenship? We put here no, but if you do, not a problem. You want to put your date of birth, your household income, your employment, your occupation, okay? Your housing status, whether you own, rent, and your monthly housing expenses. They just want to know exactly what kind of liquidity profile you have at the personal level and the percentage of ownership that you have at the business. Here again, for sake of clarity, and sake of speed, we just put 100%, but this could be different for you, right? And who is the controlling manager of this organization? We put you in this case. Okay. Now, a controlling manager is a single individual with significant responsibility to control, manage, or direct a legal entity customer, right? So this person can be a CEO, for example, a CFO, a COO, a chief operating officer, right? A managing member, a general partner, a president, a VP, a treasurer, or any other individual who regularly performs similar functions. So once you do this, you can see here on the screen here, it says the terms and conditions. Now, this is really important. I know a lot of people don't read this, but as a business owner, you want to either print, you want to archive the terms and conditions, because if something happens, God forbid, you are in disagreement with the Bank of America, they're raising their fees or whatever, you want to go back to something written, something that was written black and white, so you can see from a legal perspective whether they are authorized to do so. So this is why you want to read it. And if you don't have time, you want to send it to your lawyers to read for you and explain to you. But here you have it. So they talk about the details of rate, fees, and other cost information. This is important not only from a business perspective, but also from an EIN perspective. In other words, the whole application must be structured in such a way that you are shielding your personal assets, your personal responsibility from any business affairs. And this is the ideal solution anyway, right? So all of this is included in the terms and conditions. This is why, again, you want to read it. And on the next screenshot here, you can see here they are talking about, they will give you an idea of the interest rates and finance charges. Here again, you want to read. There's nothing you can do about it. Bank of America is offering you what they believe is the best APR for this card. Okay, if you accept it, then it's fine. But again, you want to read it. And you also, so you have APR for purchases, APR for balance transfers, APR for cash advances, penalty APR, and so on and so forth. What you want to have is you want to have a list of all the charges, all the potential charges that this card can trigger. And you want to have at least someone in your company, if not yourself, track those expenses. You might be saying, oh, well, those are smaller amounts. But if you have a limit of 100,000 or $500,000, then those charges might actually increase exponentially. So it's all about tracking the expenses. It's all about tracking the charges that you will have on your card. And I was talking to you earlier about the EIN only part. They're asking your social for AML purposes, anti-money laundering purposes. And they're not going to do a hard pull on you if you do things properly. If you speak to someone at the branch, if you gauge your chances of approval beforehand, and if you do not apply online. In this case, at this stage rather, you can save the application for a later, or you can click continue. So if you click continue here, they want you to review. So this is basically a summary of what you have already entered. So we're showing you the first screenshots. You can review and edit it if needed. Just make sure that all the information is clear there. Then the second screenshot. Then the third screenshot. Then the fourth screenshot. Then the fifth screenshot. So for each screenshot, you can actually edit. You can, if you're not comfortable with some kind of data, whatever, you can change it. So after the fifth screenshot, you want to click continue on the fifth screenshot. You can see what you have here. So here, this is the certification regarding the beneficial owner. This is so important, folks. And the reason is that the beneficial owner is actually the person. So this is the person the Bank of America might potentially go after if there is a problem in terms of balances not being repaid on the card. And they want to make sure that the beneficial owner has to make sure that this person certify this credit card application. And this person must certify the credit card application before submitting. So here in this case, it says, I, Sweetie Kiwi the fourth or the fifth, hereby certify to the best of my knowledge that the information provided is complete and correct. You want to take this certification seriously. This document has legal validity. It has legal validity. If something happens, you go to court with Bank of America, or Bank of America comes after you, they can actually use this document as proof that you have actually, or you were supposed to read everything. Okay, so once you do this, you just have to click submit application, and that's basically it. Again, this is basically the online version of the application. Ideally and preferably, you want to do this at a branch. You want to fill the application at a branch. This was meant to show you what kind of information is requested, what kind of questions are asked, what kind of answers you should be given. So once you click submit application, so they're going to review your application. So the system will take about 10 to 15 seconds to review your applications. This is the time where so next they will actually say, okay, Sweetie Kiwi, thanks for applying. Unfortunately, we are not able to approve your decision at this time. What happens next? You will receive a letter explaining the reasons for our decision, which entitles you to a free copy of your credit report. Here, we do have a denial decision, right, folks? And guess what? This is absolutely normal. And we did this intentionally for two reasons. Number one, we wanted to show you what kind of answers you will get if you were denied, if you fill out the application online and you got a denial letter, a rejection letter for your Bank of America EIN only business credit card application. Just wanted to show you what it looks like, what kind of info you have. They'll send you a letter explaining the reasons for the rejection, all that kind of stuff. So that's the first part. We also intentionally did this because we just inputted wrong data. We put fictitious data. This is for a tutorial. This is for an illustrative purposes. This is for an educational purpose. We're not here to apply for a Bank of America EIN only business credit card. So the bottom line here is that when you want to go through the Bank of America EIN only business credit card application, please make sure you have the right information, that you're able to actually input the right information, the correct information. You have all the backup just in case they ask for additional information. If you do things right and you apply at a branch, things should go much more smoothly. And if they request additional information, please do not ghost them. You want to get back to them as soon as possible. As soon as possible. The faster you get back to Bank of America, the better. And they will actually give you the cash you need. And but don't forget also one thing I said before, you want to really have the MPR, the multi-product relationship. A business checking account, a business savings account, and or a business investment account. It can be an IRA or it can be a 401k, whatever it is, okay? All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was actually walking you through a Bank of America EIN only business credit card applications step by step, and I was showing you how to fill out the form. I'll see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.